It's a new day. Yes, it is.
Hey everybody, welcome to the inaugural episode of Ring Russ with Ron and Russ. I'm Ron.
I am Russ.
And we're going to talk to you about all sorts of things every week here on Ring Russ. But this week we got something special for you. The 2016 Royal Rumble. What are your initial thoughts there, Russ?
I really actually enjoyed the show. A lot more than I expected to. I'm sure we're going to get into how it ended and our feelings on that, because it's not totally negative for me. Like, maybe not as much as it would have been otherwise, but like, I don't know. I liked it. I was a fan of the show. I don't think it was perfect throughout, but I did enjoy it.
Well, let's go break it down match by match.
Yes.
Let's go that way. Opening match, the last man standing match for the Intercontinental title between Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens. I kind of thought that was the match of the night.
I agree. Match of the night by far. They almost went out there like they were trying to be like, okay, follow that.
Well, and that's the thing is, you got someone like Kevin Owens who you watch his matches and you can tell that he's purposely stiffing these people. You know, and that's why I'm thinking, you know, a side note, when Nakamura comes in, you got to put him in there against Cesaro. You got to put him in there against Kevin Owens. You got to put him in there against Brock Lesnar, because he is the New Japan version of Brock Lesnar, in a way.
You know, it's funny. I am not as familiar with his work, so you can tell me a little bit about it, because I'm like, I know of him, a lot of the New Japan stuff. I don't get a chance to really watch that as much, but I've heard a lot of great things.
That man, when he hits you, you stay hit.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
He's like if Michael Jackson had a baby with Shawn Michaels.
Okay.
You know,
all right.
He put on a 5-star match with AJ Styles at Wrestle Kingdom 10, and
I'll have to look that one up.
It's on the YouTubes. But
I was gonna say Kevin Owens, though, if he's stiffing Dean Ambrose last night or on Sunday, I don't. Something tells me Ambrose not the type who would care too much. I used to watch that man at CZW in Philly and South Jersey, and it's probably like nothing compared to those days.
Oh, I'm sure that he's not far off from his character.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
I mean, they say that a good character is just an accentuation of who you really are, which means Roman Reigns has no personality whatsoever.
Well, here's the thing. I've seen some people are not able to translate their real world personality to their characters effectively. And I've seen interviews with Roman Reigns. Like, I saw him, I think, on Conan once, and he was funny and charming. And I'm like, wow, this is not something I'm used to seeing. Like, if he is not able, I think they rushed him into the position he's in. I think I'm not saying anything controversial by saying that. No, everyone's probably going to agree, but he needs more time, and they've already got him in the main event. So I don't know if he had enough time to be able to figure out how to translate that to his character enough, because he is actually, when he's being himself, he's fine. I see the appeal. Okay.
Well, let's get back to Ambrose, because if we start talking about Roman Reigns, we're going to spoil what happened at the end of Raw, and it's just, yeah. But now, that match, there was tons of false finishes in that thing. Could have gone either way at any point. What did you think of the finish? Was it too big? Especially for the PG era?
No, God, no. You're never going to have me agreeing with that. Like, I'm glad they're doing stuff like that. You know, I'm glad that a match can end with somebody falling through 2 tables at once. You know, like, that's the kind of stuff I want to see. And I think that if they save it for big events like the Royal Rumble, then, you know, I think that's if they can't do much of that, if they can't do that much, I'm glad they'll save it for stuff like that, because it felt special.
I was half waiting for the ECW chance.
Yeah, I was actually kind of surprised,
because that was
Orlando's a good town.
That was a total Sabu thing, going through 2 tables at the end. Oh, by the way, if you haven't watched Royal Rumble and you haven't watched Raw, there will be spoilers. So just I had to actually tell a buddy of mine, DJ, if you're listening to this and you haven't watched Raw yet, bad boy. I
actually watched it just a little earlier, just before we went on. Like I'm lucky I got it in.
Hey, that's, you know, there was the parts of that show I just got up and went and did dishes, didn't care, you know. But yeah. All right, the next match, we're not, mind you, we're not Dave Apter, so we're not going to be doing in really intense recaps of these matches. But the next match was the Usos versus the New Day, and I loved the finish of this match. I loved it. It was fantastic, and I'm glad that Francesca's back.
Oh yeah. I think it proves how good Xavier Woods is that he's gotten a trombone over more so than a lot of like half the roster is.
That trombone is over more than Roman Reigns, and he's supposed to be their top
true.
guy.
True, that trombone is definitely a bigger star at this point.
But I mean, do you think? I mean, I think you'll agree that at this point they need more tag teams going on here, because it's getting really stale watching the New Day defend against the Usos and then not the Usos and then the Usos again, and it's just kind of, I mean, with Sin Cara out, I'm glad Kalisto's getting his push. We'll get to that in a minute, but I mean, and as much as it's the New Day is always fun, and they really saved Raw on Monday night. I'll just say that much. But what did you think of the match as a whole? I like the finish a lot. You know, when I forget which Uso it is, I don't care. But like, you know, he was doing he was gonna do a splash, and Big E just caught him and hit him with the, you know, big ending.
I was admittedly out of that match for most of it, kind of like, you know, because I'm not a big fan of the Usos. It's nothing personal, but I just feel that they're kind of one of the problems with the tag team division, and that they're very bland. It's not their fault. It's the writer's fault. It's the way they're booked, but they don't seem like they have much to it like New Day does. But I came back into the match when I saw him catch him. I did actually go like, "Oh shit!" Like that took me by surprise.
Oh yeah,
like
when he caught him,
that strength. Oh my god.
Yeah, that man. Well, I remember I was watching the new series on the WWE Network, Ride Along, and
I haven't watched that yet.
They're really good, and like actually, they mentioned when Big E beat up Hornswoggle, and I thought that was just so funny because they were showing clips, and it was, and when you watch the New Day outside of the wrestling ring, they're the same way. I mean, they're not as heelish, obviously, but they're the same way as they are in the ring. So that's what being yourself as a wrestler gets you. It gets you over. That's why people liked Austin, because he was himself, basically.
Right.
You know, when you watch him doing his video podcasts, you don't know whether or not he's about to snap somebody's neck, mainly his own.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it's and that's what I love about that. So that match was kind of, the New Day kept my interest just enough. But other than that,
I'll always watch a New Day match. You know, like even when I'm not as into it because of who they're against, like they are entertaining enough. But I think just in general, the Usos are like, I liked them when they were heels, because that whole like war chant they do before heading out was intimidating and scary. But now that they've turned into like pandering to the crowd, it's just lame. It's just lame. Like, oh, we all say, oh, you say so. Like, all right.
No, I'm not going to say anything. Thank you.
Yeah,
no.
I miss back when they would just scream it and look scary and not do that part, and then just run to because you'd be like, oh my god, I'd be terrified if like somebody evil was running at me that just did that.
Well, my whole thing is I don't even remember them as heels. That's how much I don't care.
It's been a while
about the Usos. And that's why we're moving on to the next match, which is Alberto Del Rio versus Kalisto for the United States Championship.
That's a new match.
Yeah, it's you haven't seen that one before. The thing about this match is I completely missed it. I'm not gonna lie. All I caught was him hitting the Del Rio hitting the turnbuckle and him hitting the
soul.
That's it. Yeah, because I can't speak funny language.
Me either. It's like I'm very impressed every time I see that move. So I guess I just got it drummed into my head now.
He, him hitting that. But I heard that there was a spot where he was going for a moonsault and he hit his head.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Yeah, he missed a spot.
Ooh.
Apparently,
Callisto, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's like 4 foot tall, so it probably didn't hurt too much.
He's a little guy.
Yeah, he's a wee fella.
But I guess he was all right though.
Yeah, but overall, I mean, I think I'm glad at seeing some new blood with that title. I know, granted, I liked seeing Cena do the open challenge because you never know who was going to come out. I mean, you got Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens. Would have loved to have seen Finn Balor, but you know.
Well, it certainly did a lot for the title itself. I didn't care at all about the U.S. title. Now I do. Ever since that open challenge really brought it back. They did a good job with that.
They really did. That's the only time I gave a shit about Cena. So it's good to see, Kalisto with the title, and he won it clean. Cena didn't have to be in his corner, which is always fun. But other than that, I mean, the matches were good, but ultimately forgettable, with the exception of the last man standing match, I think.
Right. Well, let's talk about the women's match then.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
because that I love Becky Lynch, and I like as good. I thought they did fine with their match, and I'm glad Sasha Banks is back in there. But I feel like now she's just being brushed aside. Like, oh, okay, we just needed you while Sasha was hurt for a few weeks. You can leave now. Like, and I hated it. She felt so brushed aside after losing that match.
Well, here's what I think is going to happen. Here's a Ring Russ prediction. I have a feeling at Fastlane it's going to be Sasha versus Charlotte, and then Charlotte's going to win, and then we're going to have a triple threat match at WrestleMania for the Divas title. I can't believe that they're still even calling it that.
That's where one day. That's how Triple H isn't 100% in charge, even though some people will think he is. Because I feel like he has expressed enough times how much he hates that it's called the Divas title and wants it back to Women's Championship, that I feel like when that day comes, it will finally get its name changed.
Yeah, you got to wonder at what point Vince is just going to say, "Hey, you know what? NXT's running so great." But I heard that he's kind of the only thing that he's not allowed to micromanage Vince is NXT, which I'm good with.
That sounds right.
I'm okay.
Oh,
with that.
I'm very glad. Very glad.
Yeah, but what I'm not happy with NXT is that Joe's never coming up to the main roster, from my understanding.
Well, he's done so good. I think he's actually outperformed expectations at this point. Like, I think he was brought in knowing he was going to be good, but he's done so good, much better.
But the thing is from what I understand, he only signed a year contract.
They'd be smart to keep him around, because I think he's proven why he'd make a good asset there, at least for like a short run, like some sort of special story, maybe into a future WrestleMania or something. Like, there's something really special there.
Oh yeah, but here's the big news for people who don't know already, because while it hit for a little bit, it didn't hit too much. But the greatest man that ever lived is now in NXT.
Woohoo!
Austin Aries, A-double. He's one of my favorite wrestlers, because this guy, he's from Wisconsin, but
oh, that's why. Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't like the Crusher I don't like the Crusher and the Bruiser, and they're from Wisconsin, but he's got everything that a champion needs. He bleeds it.
Oh, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
I cannot wait to see him actually, in the ring. Apparently his NXT TV debut is March 3rd, which is a long way off.
Yeah, it is. It's like, what, 4 episodes away, 5 episodes away. It feels. Sometimes you hate that they do so many at once, just because then you know about things for so long and have to wait that long to see it. I'm excited.
Oh, I can't wait, and I can see him dethroning Finn Balor. And once Finn Balor, we'll get into Finn Balor in a minute, because there's a bunch. We should start making some WrestleMania predictions here too, I think. But let's finish up with the pay-per-view.
Okay.
The only thing that bothered me about Charlotte and Becky was Becky having to kiss Ric Flair.
Oh, I forgot. You know what? I forgot about that.
So
how?
gross.
I don't know.
That was so gross.
You know what? It wasn't played well. It wasn't like, I get it. They're trying to having him do like the creepy old man, and it's fitting within his character that when he's a heel, he would do that to mess with someone. But it just felt, the timing on it, the reactions didn't feel right. It just didn't. It seemed like a moment that could have worked, but didn't. And
it didn't work at all.
It came off creepy.
I'm surprised she didn't throw up.
Ugh.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
Poor Becky.
Poor Becky. And I'm a little leery to see that, someone like Paige is nowhere near the card at all.
All right, this might be a bit of a tangent, so maybe I should save it, but we may actually be on different sides. Like, I've been kind of disappointed with Paige ever since she went up to the main roster.
Well, we'll save that for later.
Yeah,
she'll be around for a while. Then I also have a thing for British women, but that's neither here nor there. But let's get into the Royal Rumble.
Let's do it.
Roman Reigns comes out as number 1. Rusev is number 2. And did you notice by the end of Rusev getting eliminated, all right, 90 seconds, Roman Reigns was huffing and puffing, and it looked like he needed a lie down.
I think he may have been playing that up. Roman Reigns is not a weak guy. Like I think he may have just been trying to act like it was a bigger deal than it was because he's from the League of Nations and he's currently feuding with them and he couldn't make it seem like he just easily threw him out. But it's possible. I'm just me playing devil's advocate basically.
All right, but then number 3 is the big number here because the phenomenal AJ Styles makes his debut on a WWE program. And I don't think Roman knew what he was in for. Because when he hit him with the Pele kick, you could see on his face that he was like, "What the hell are you doing?"
Well, did you notice? And look, I didn't see anybody else mention this, but and I would actually say, if you have the network at home listening, like watch it back and tell me if I'm just crazy. But when he gave him not fireman, he dropped him back and his head landed on his stomach, it looked like Reigns hit his head bad because I saw him grab his head and then kind of shake it off for a sec, and I saw him lean over to AJ and say something, and he gave a little signal to one of the refs on the outside, and it seemed like he may have knocked himself silly a little bit. I was actually worried because he was slow with AJ and something was up. I was worried that he was like totally injured and now had to work the rest of the match, but
well, I think that
thing.
It seems like, and this happened again on Raw, but to me it seemed like AJ slowed his moveset down a little bit. Like he didn't like really, because if you watch him in TNA, you watch him in New Japan, he's on fire. But it seemed like they almost told him when he went out there, you know what, kind of tone it down a little bit.
Maybe, and it's totally possible.
You know, and I thought about it for a while. Like, when are they going to let him hit the fucking Styles Clash?
Well, do you know? God, that's another talk almost for Raw, but still, they're like teasing it still. Like they keep talking about how great it is. He still hasn't hit it.
I wonder if they're going to say that for a big moment. Like, well, that's like Hideo Itami.
Maybe.
Hideo Itami, for the longest time, he didn't, he never used the GTS, and then, and then finally, he hits it, and the crowd went ape shit. But so AJ's in there for quite a while, I thought, and the Rumble's going along fine, whatever, and then the Wyatts come in.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, Bray's not in, but it's Braun Strowman, Eric Rowan, and Luke Harper. Then the Beast comes out, Brock Lesnar, and he's cleaning house. He eliminates Rowan, he eliminates Harper. Am I the only one who felt like Braun Strowman was fucking up royally when Brock was trying to eliminate him?
We could be talking about any... Oh, yeah, when he was trying to eliminate him. I was talking about, like, him fucking up could be anytime you see Strowman out there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I noticed a little bit of that, too. It looked... Well, although, again, they may have been trying for the hitting him multiple times and then he finally goes down thing, like the version of, like, when somebody hits... It would be like... Years ago, you put Shawn Michaels up against somebody who's like 7 foot tall, and he has to hit the super kick 3 times before he finally falls. Like that's sort of like trying to play him up like this big guy that even Brock Lesnar has a hard time getting him out. But because he's such a fuck up, it's totally possible.
Well, I mean, because you could see Brock's face, like he started to get the look on his face, like he was really pissed. Because at one point he kept hitting him with the high knee, hits him with the second high knee. I don't know if he tried it with the third one, but then finally he hits him with like that hammer hit punch. And that's what sends him over because he was just fucking fed up. It's like, I'm done with this shit. Get out of the ring. You fucking waste.
But then again, I've heard that they might be, and I think it's a huge mistake, but they might be trying to push towards some sort of Brock Lesnar, Braun Strowman match. Which, here's my issue with Braun Strowman.
Everything.
I get that he's a big guy. Physically, he looks extremely like intimidating. If this was a guy you met in real life, and he had a problem with you, that would be bad. Yeah, but he cannot wrestle. He's so bad. He botches everything, and not even in just like little ways, like very obvious. Oh, let's just give away that this is all staged, like types of ways. It's so embarrassing anytime he steps in the ring.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan at all. I mean,
I don't know how he went all the way there.
It's the look
already.
It's the look. That's all it is. And you know how Vince is.
I know.
And that hurts. That hurts my heart. You
This
know?
reminds me of the Giant Gonzalez,
Oh, please let's not bring him
El
up.
Gigante. Like that's what this feels like again. They got a big guy who doesn't know what he's doing. He's gonna be around. It wouldn't surprise me if a year goes by and Braun Strowman is either not around in NXT or turned into some sort of comedy act.
Uh,
Because I can't see this lasting. I can't unless he does some major improvement.
well, and we'll get into once we're finished talking about the Rumble. We'll talk about how after the Rumble ended, it left us with a bunch of setups for matches for Mania. Okay.
Yes, yeah, it did.
Well, um, so then the Wyatts come back in once Bray comes in and they eliminate Brock. And I don't know, but something looked funny about Brock after he got eliminated because he kind of looked like red in the face, like maybe he got hurt or something.
He looked dejected. He almost it didn't feel like the type of response that he should have had.
A typical Brock Lesnar response to him being eliminated would have been like to throw shit and beat people up. And
Well,
but he
how
like,
was he thrown out again? How was he thrown out again? Because there was something. Didn't they come back in? Didn't
Yeah.
the Wyatt family come back in and what made more sense is for him to go back for one more shot and then have a bunch of like officials run out and drag them to the back or something. Because it felt like he just went, "Oh, they beat me up. Shucks."
What
and
am I
walked
gonna
away.
do? Go home
Which
to
was-
Sable.
Felt very unlike his character.
Yeah, and that doesn't make any sense. I'm wondering if maybe they, Braun Strowman injured him.
Well, God, if anybody was going to do it. Although, now, I'm guessing that's probably not the case, considering Brock has a match in a month.
Oh yeah, well we'll get to that in a minute. That's
Yeah.
we're getting way ahead. You're getting ahead of yourself there, sir.
I know I'm very bad at going off on tangents.
Hey, that's
but,
fine. That's fine. But okay, so
bad.
now then the match is going on. It's going on. At one point early on in the match, Roman Reigns is beaten up by the League of Nations and stretchered to the back. And 3/4 of the match goes by, nothing. And then all of a sudden, Sheamus comes out, and here comes Roman Reigns with the big return. I don't know. I liked it better when Stone Cold did it back in '97.
Well, me too, but that's because it actually felt like something really. This felt so forced. It
Yes.
felt like they were trying to go back for that. And also, they had enough time. Like when the Austin thing happened, things were chaotic. They had so much time, and the numbers were in their favor. It made no sense that they didn't just take that extra little oomph to put him over the top rope and take him out. Like it felt like, you idiots, what are you doing? Like clearly he's going to come back if you do that.
Exactly,
You know what I mean?
he did, which sucked. And the crowd knew what was going on, and they
Yeah.
booed the hell out of it.
Well, Orlando's a good crowd for something like that. It's kind of like the Philly thing.
But then
You know,
here's the big thing, and a lot of people seem to be pissed about it. Is we're down to about 5 or 6, maybe 7 people in the ring. Number 30 comes out, and I'm thinking, come on, Brian. Nope, not Brian.
I knew it was going to be Daniel Bryan or Triple H.
And then out comes Triple H, and the crowd loved it. They were loving it. It was Triple H because they knew who was going to win the Royal Rumble.
They were just happy. I look at it like when there's certain election seasons when you're like, well, I'm just voting for the person who I hate the least. And I think it was a case of that. They saw that it looked like Roman Reigns was going to win, and then when he came out, they were like, "Oh no, okay, now we see what they're doing. Thank goodness it's not Roman Reigns."
Exactly, and you know what? As much and his we'll talk about what his little speech about respect on Raw in a little bit here, but I was glad that they threw Roman out when they did. It wasn't back up to Triple H and Roman. It was up to Triple H and Dean Ambrose, and that's that's the position I love Dean Ambrose in, is when he's fighting for it. He's almost there, and sorry. That's when he's the best.
It's true.
But so Triple H is the Royal Rumble winner. Vince comes out, Stephanie's out, and have you seen that Instagram picture of Stephanie watching Triple H do push-ups?
Yes, I have.
That facial expression she's making is like, I'm gonna get dick tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. So I hope he didn't bring the belt to bed with him, which would be awkward, like he's wearing it. But so okay, Royal Rumble's over with, and I was overall happy with the pay-per-view.
I have one complaint I haven't heard anywhere, and it's about Triple H, and it's about towards the end of it.
Okay.
He no-sold Dolph Ziggler's finisher, and I'm a Triple H fan. I don't hate him as much as a lot of people do, but I got really pissed that Dolph Ziggler hit him with the Famouser. He immediately stood up reversed something and threw him out of the ring. He no-sold his finisher, and that just continues the weakening of Dolph Ziggler to the audience.
I think Dolph needs a break.
He needs to go away and come back for a while, or after a while.
Just go do a comedy tour and come back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm okay with Triple H as champion. Like I said, better than Roman. But the next night on Raw, and this is where we're switching gears. So if you haven't seen Raw, spoilers. The Authority comes out, running their mouth as per usual. Triple H gives this big speech about respect, and it kind of hit me in a weird way because I can understand where he's coming from. Because someone like Dean or someone like Seth Rollins, who until he got hurt was the fucking man. Seth Rollins, I don't care if you like him or not, Seth Rollins was awesome.
Oh, he was fantastic. He was everything a heel champion should be.
Oh, and now when he comes back, he's going to be a face.
I can't wait.
Yeah, and he's going to be feuding with the Authority, unless the Authority's gone by then, which I hope they are. But
that'd be nice.
So they come on, but it hit me. Someone like Dean, someone like Seth, someone like even, I hate to say this, but even John Cena. You know, they had to bust their ass to come up from where they were.
Yeah.
Okay. And when Cena says he's out there every night, he's not lying. You know, he's I'm not a big fan of his, but he doesn't lie about shit like that. And Roman seems to almost have been like handpicked because who his family is, and just kind of thrown into NXT and then tossed up on the main roster. And here he is, main eventing WrestleMania with Brock Lesnar, and this motherfucker's been wrestling for, you know what? Let me look it up now, so I don't look like a complete tool. But he can't be wrestling more than 5 years.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And that's what I hate. I
You
type in Roman Reigns and Ronald Reagan comes up. Yeah, just as bad. Let's see.
Oh my God! Don't. Oh, that's so mean. Don't say that about Roman Reigns. How dare you?
Don't say that about Ronald Reagan. That coming from a Bernie fan.
Well, you know what? Oh, me too. Hey, feel the burn.
Let's see. He's okay. He's got his day. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh no, it hasn't even been 6 years.
It's been 5 years and 4 months.
Well, it's September 9th is when he debuted down in NXT.
Yep, 2010.
And it's because of who his dad is, who his uncle is, who his cousin is, who I love. Couldn't even get him over last year.
Oh man, that's when you knew something was wrong, huh?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, and the thing that pisses me off about it so much is that like I want to like Roman Reigns. I think the audience does too. But if they keep trying to push him the way they've been doing, it's just not going to work. And I'm not saying anything we don't already all understand. But they don't seem to understand that at the corporate level.
Well, plus, I mean, and what's really weird is that he was getting hardcore boos, and that's like his home area, because he's born down in Pensacola, and he lives in Tampa, so that's kind of his area.
Well, to me, it's just I know I'm going off on a thing, but it's like to me, it's the push. It's the push is ruining things because like people want and I'll say this right now, and people may not agree with me on this, but
I wholeheartedly disagree with you, sir.
I think people want to like him because even after he got booed, he gave some amazing matches in the year following that booing out of the building at Royal Rumble, and it felt to me like he was really trying to prove that he deserved it. But they should have done what they're doing with like Dean Ambrose right now, give him a shot with the IC title, build him up on a lesser title before getting to where he is, and pushing him to where they've done. It's just been the biggest mistake ever. And I feel bad for the guy because he does have a good look. You give him 10 years of experience before getting him to the, main event level, and you could have had something, but I think they've wasted it.
Well, and their excuse is probably going to be, well, we don't have any main event talent. Well, then bring up some of the younger guys who've been busting their ass. Go down to NXT and grab some people. Make someone like a Kevin Owens a main eventer. Or Cesaro. Push fucking Cesaro.
Cesaro really is. See, because like Kevin Owens, you could make the argument like, oh, he doesn't look like the type of guy they'd want up there, whatever. But Cesaro is an in shape guy who's very likable, who could make the media rounds and do just fine and represent the company great. I don't know. There's no explanation to me for how they've treated him.
Well, I remember when Austin McMahon was on Austin's podcast, he said something to the effect of there's just something he's missing. Like what? What is it? And you know what? Then fine. Have Chris Hero get a little bit of liposuction because I remember what was it 6 pounds he got fired over 6 pounds.
Who knows? Chris Hero was never good at the workouts.
Yeah.
I don't get why Chris Hero didn't just wear a shirt, because when I used to see him in CZW, he had a shirt on, and I never noticed the weird kind of flab he had.
If you want to see a tag team that's ridiculously over, that has a sick amount of talent, bring Chris Hero in, have him tag with Cesaro, because we don't know whether or not Tyson Kidd's going to be coming back after that neck injury. You know, he's been gone a long time. You know, bring back the Kings of fucking Wrestling.
Kings of Wrestling, who I got to see live multiple times, and they were always awesome. Chris Hero, I have an old Chris Hero shirt I bought at CCW just because I thought they were the greatest. Like I that was back when I had like no money. I'm like, I have to get a Chris Hero shirt because he's the greatest. I'm so upset that he's gone, but that's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole 6 pound conversation. I mean, just fucking. I know you don't like working out, but ride a bike for a week and it'll go away. You know, and
he has always said that the door's still open.
Lose the fucking weight and go back, but yeah. So now we get the Authority promo and this, that, and the other thing, and I forget what the match was after. This is how shitty Raw was. But you know what? Let's talk about the matches that were set up for WrestleMania, or so we thought at the end of the Royal Rumble. After you watch the Royal Rumble, you get the idea that we're going to see Ambrose and Jericho.
Right.
You know, all stems back to that the 6-man tag with the Wyatts. You know, and now then Ambrose eliminated, baby. But and you also see something to the effect of Kevin Owens versus AJ Styles, perhaps. You know,
yeah, that would have been cool.
Or bring Sammy up and make it a triple threat.
I hope that's what they do long term. I hope they get Sammy up because that would be such a great match, show stealing match.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then you get Brock versus the entire Wyatt family, which
that would be cool if they did that.
Yeah, and I think it'd be great. Then you get Triple H and Roman Reigns, and we're like, oh, okay, fine. I am not a big fan of what that match is going to be because I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Hunter's going to have to carry him.
I disagree with you on that. Reigns has had some great matches this past year.
Yeah, because people
Triple
carry
H is
him.
slowing down.
Yeah, but people carry him.
Not always.
I take you back to Fastlane last year, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that match?
What did he do at Fastlane last year? I can't remember.
Him and Daniel Bryan.
Oh yeah. Okay. Look. I'm not saying I'm not saying he's on Daniel Bryan's level, but neither are multiple other people who I think are fine. Like Daniel Bryan's on a level of his own. That would be like saying that somebody wasn't good 20 years ago because they're not Shawn Michaels. It's like he's so good.
Can we talk for a second about how they completely underutilized Daniel Bryan, or is that just a given?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, come on.
I mean, I would love to have seen Bryan and Aries, because I know Austin Aries was saying that he wants Bryan back so they can have one of their matches from Ring of Honor, and I would love to see the two of them in a 60-minute Iron Man match. Aries and Bryan, or Finn Balor and Austin Aries. There's so many combinations we can go with here. But okay, now here was my theory for WrestleMania for the Undertaker. Okay, because I know that they were talking John Cena to take on the Undertaker. Now I hope to God it's not The Rock versus Undertaker, because that will be such a shitty match.
Oh, you sure? You don't think that that The Rock could come back after 2 years? He was terrible coming back after 1 year when he was at John Cena Rock 2.
Oh yeah,
he was bad then. I mean, yeah, he tore a pec that probably doesn't help things, but still.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing is, if you're going to tear a pec in the ring with Cena, imagine what's going to happen if you get step in the ring with Brock, or if you get in the ring with even the Undertaker. The Undertaker, he's got those fists of his are like goddamn bricks. They have to be, So here's what I would love to see for WrestleMania for Taker's last match. Taker's always about he likes putting over the young guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a guy down on NXT who would be perfect for him to put over. You have
let me guess.
Okay.
Finn Balor.
You're goddamn right. And I'll tell you why.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
One, it's like the dead man passing the torch to the demon. Okay.
Right.
And also, WrestleMania is always about those big, extravagant entrances. Could you imagine Finn Balor's entrance at WrestleMania?
Oh, it'd be crazy.
That'd be worth $60 alone.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely.
And then, so I mean, we should, I think we should start a hashtag, and it should be Finn versus Taker.
Finn
Taker. I want to see that match so bad and that's the match. And I hate to say this because I like Mark. He's Undertaker. He's a good worker. He's he's one of the only guys in the back that has earned the respect of everyone. I think. But
absolutely. I mean, he's the only guy I think could go that long and have great matches for such an extended period of time.
But I think Finn would have to carry him, and that's just because of Finn's style. I don't think the Undertaker's ever been up against somebody with that kind of a style before.
I don't know. You know what? Because I thought I was very underwhelmed by Undertaker's last match, and God. I don't know what was at fault. Like, it's possible, but he's so good at pacing these matches and doing. He's just really good at making matches that make sense, even when he doesn't do much. Like, I could see him still doing a good job with it. Because I would have thought the same thing about CM Punk Undertaker a few years ago.
Oh, that match was so good.
Yeah, and that match stole the show, and I think Undertaker was just as much the reason for that as CM Punk was.
Well, and I think a lot of the thing with the Punk Undertaker match was the build up was done right, and that was the one time it's okay to use somebody's death as a storyline. Unlike saying, well, I guess your baby brother didn't have much fight in him. Way to go, Paige. Boy, that's the second time she's been brought up. But yeah, so that's what I was seeing coming out of Rumble as like the thing set up. Go through Fastlane and then boom at Mania, all these great matches. No, because all of a sudden it's like Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns are taking on who was it? Sheamus and Rusev of the League of Nations. Huh?
Wait, I thought it was the two of them versus. Oh wait. Okay, maybe I missed something. I thought it was two of them and Lesnar at Fastlane. And the winner was going to go up against Triple
H. We're just talking about Ross and there, sir.
Oh, that. Okay, I thought you said that that's what they set up. I'm like, did I see a different show?
No.
Okay.
They the main event of Raw was I don't even know, Roman and Dean versus the League of Nations again.
Which is why when you said that, I was like, please tell me that's not the actual match they set up for a pay-per-view. Okay.
No.
I was like, oh, yeah, because that was pretty underwhelming.
Yeah. So throughout the night, these people are supposed to be impressing the authority to see who gets in the main event at Fastlane to become a number one contender for Triple H's title at WrestleMania. Right. AJ and Chris Jericho, I don't know what it was. It was a good match, but AJ looked like he was holding back again.
So far we're comparing his performance against like people who are slower.
But Jericho can handle
I think
it,
is slowing. But Jericho is slowing down as he gets older. He can the strength on the strength side of things he can, but he is moving slower. And I noticed that the way he was even running around the ring felt slow. It felt like he was lumbering. And he's still a strong guy, but I think he's starting to lose a little bit of his energy.
He's putting on his podcast, but So who do you think AJ should be in the ring with to show his full potential?
I think Kevin Owens would have been a great one to go with. I would love to see those two. I think then you'd get the kind of match you want. I mean, you put them up. It's too early and there's no reason for it yet. But if you set up something with him and Ambrose, eventually, I think you'd get some good matches. There's plenty of people you could do great with.
You know what? And this is going to sound weird, but I'd love to see AJ Styles and Kalisto.
Okay, you know what? That works. I like that.
A couple of because AJ can still go, even though he's 38, 39, something like that. I know he said he's going to retire at 42. He said that's a hard fast thing. He's not. But let me see here. AJ Styles. Wait. Whoa. He's 38. Which doesn't make me feel any better because I look older than he does. But now I'm a big fan of whatculture.com.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with them or not.
For a few times I get listed linked over there.
Okay. There's an article up here, and it's I don't know if it's clickbait or not, but it says AJ Styles Clash banned in WWE. And I don't know. Well, because apparently he has a history of injuring people with the move, but because apparently in New Japan, Yoshitatsu was almost paralyzed due to a botched Styles Clash. Eventually he's going to hit it, but the thing about it is you got to remember who's used that move before.
Right.
Cesaro uses it to an
Yeah.
extent. And so did Michelle McCool.
You know what? No, I don't buy this. If it was banned, I think
They
this is
wouldn't
just
be teasing it.
speculation. They wouldn't tease it. They would tell the announcers, "Do not mention the Styles Clash." Like it. No. I think they're just waiting for the moment to have him hit it. Like they're teasing the fans a bit.
I hope so.
Because it wouldn't come up. It wouldn't come up otherwise.
Yeah, but
You'd have McMahon in the back screaming into the headset at Michael Cole, "Don't you mention the Styles Clash, damn it!"
Actually, he's more in Byron Saxton's ear. Do you want me to what do you want me to mention? Chex Mix? Okay, Chex Mix. But so you got all these matches through the night, people trying to impress the Authority, blah 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 blah. Then The Rock shows up and he hits on Lana. Go figure.
Oh man, how much heat must she have that they're still making her look that awful?
Oh man, that was bad.
God, they're doing everything they can to just embarrass her at this point.
Well, they really are.
Like, because she I mean, we know about
royally.
the thing she got into with Paige a few months ago, and
what happened to her and Paige?
Isn't Paige the one that she said that she started bad mouthing on Twitter, saying she was a bully when they were back at NXT? And then Paige kind of responded, and there was a little back and forth. And I'm pretty sure that was around the time. I mean, that was shortly after the whole thing where they got on TMZ, her and Rusev for getting married.
Yeah, that didn't help.
So I think the double whammy of that we're still feeling the effects of, because they made her look so fucking stupid.
They really did. But you get The Rock and whatever, and then he comes out running his mouth, and then the saviors of Monday Night Raw arrive. The fucking New Day. Oh. And they made The Rock look stupid.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Which I'm kind of okay with.
I'm fine with that. I mean, look, The Rock is The Rock. He's a very entertaining actor. He was one of the greatest parts of one of the best eras of wrestling of all time. But when he comes back now, I roll my eyes. I'm like, again, he's going to take a spot. Or just, he's coming back for a few months. He'll do the Mania thing and then go away again. Like, so I'm very happy when people come out and are able to kind of put him in his place.
And it just so happened to be the saviors of wrestling. That should be their name,
Yep.
Saviors of Wrestling, because there is not a moment that goes by that I am not entertained by the New Day.
Yeah, they haven't done. There's times where I'm like, all right, pull it back just a little bit. Like but even still, they're always entertaining. They haven't really hit like a bad note yet.
No, they haven't, especially with Francesca.
Oh, haha! I didn't even plan that. Worked perfectly.
Fantastic. Now, and when you get, Jericho comes in thinking that Rudy Tooty Booty is funny. What?
Oh,
no,
God.
It wasn't.
You don't understand. Chris Jericho was my favorite wrestler growing up. When I got to meet him in like 2000 at a autograph signing, I was speechless. Like, hi. When I was like 16, like he was my hero, and I have to say, he has lost a lot. He needs to continue doing his wonderful podcast that I listen to every week, and that's about it. Maybe come in every once in a while, but if they're just letting him come up with stuff and not telling him it sucks because he's Chris Jericho, someone's got to tell him.
Oh, definitely. Well, my whole thing is like I'd be the same way with Punk now, and I'm older than he is, which is scary. Oh God. But because he's actually training in Milwaukee for MMA, and
CM Punk is training in Milwaukee.
Apparently, from what I understand, AJ found a loft, and she just loves the city, and they're up there, not permanently, obviously, but yeah. So but if I saw him, I'd freak out, not because I'm starstruck, because I'm afraid of what to say to him, because you know how he is with fans when they say stupid shit.
Yeah. You just want to just go, hey man, don't want to bother you, just love your work. But then when the time, so you don't come off as a dick. But then you'd get in that situation, and be like, hey man,
hi.
Yeah, like because he's another one on that level. I don't know what I would say. I'd be worried that even if I tried to play it cool, he'd just look at you like, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, but Brian seems very approachable by people.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Mainly because he's like 4'2", but and it's okay to go up to garden gnomes. Yeah. Aww. What's he gonna do? Hurt me
Poor
with his?
Daniel Bryan.
Oh. But anyway, okay. But so now the main event, like we said, was Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose versus Sheamus and Rusev. Blah 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 blah. And then Stephanie comes out there. Stephanie. And
Oh yeah.
from way back in the bottom feeding trash bag hoe days. But
okay, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Yes.
She comes out and she makes the main event for Fastlane. It's a triple threat match: Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Brock Lesnar. You know how this is going to go out. Brock's not going to get pinned. Or, no, you know what's going to happen? I'm going to call it right now. Mark it down on your calendars, kids. Main event at Fastlane, the triple threat match for the world number one contendership for the World Heavyweight title. The Wyatts are going to cost Brock Lesnar the match.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Roman's going to pin Dean. But what I would love to see is Roman beat Dean nefariously, because I think Roman needs a heel turn.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know,
but is the time? But I bet I don't think it's going to happen now, just because I think they want to really turn him face going into. I think that's why they're doing this whole thing with Triple H, is because they are hoping that, like, well, if we put him up against Triple H and then he has his big moment, he'll finally win the fans over.
No, they're just gonna get pissed. Here's what you do. If I'm gonna book that whole program with Triple H and Roman Reigns right now, and I dare WWE to do it better. This is where the authority starts to break down. Okay, because Triple H is starting to take himself as champion seriously, you know, as he does. And he starts to drive a wedge between him and Stephanie and Vince. Okay. And Triple H is getting over more with the crowd. And Roman is kind of becoming a little bit nastier. Okay. And then at Mania, we do the double turn. And he beats Triple H, like, by hitting him with a chair or something or whatever. Because I think that would work. Because we need to end the authority.
Well,
okay.
You're right, but you're absolutely right.
Most new storylines start after Mania.
It's true, but I do hope that I hope it goes away. But I'm worried because, like, clearly, like, McMahon coming back was just like, all right, well, I guess the only way we can get ratings is if we continue doing the authority thing and, you know, have him back there. Like, I feel like they're going to keep it going, and not that I want them to. I think you're right, but I just don't see them doing it. One thing that would be nice, if let's say they go through what we already realize is the most predictable path, which is what you said happens at Fastlane. Roman Reigns goes to WrestleMania, beats Triple H. From there, to have him shortly after start turning heel after getting that whole, like, the big face win that they've been pushing for him to get. Him to start then turning heel now that he's the champion would be an interesting time to do it.
My whole thing with turning Triple H face is because he is, for all intents and purposes, the daddy of NXT.
Oh yeah.
Everybody looks up to him. He wins the World Heavyweight title. Finn Balor posts a tweet saying he's so proud of Triple H. That doesn't make sense to be saying that about the authority. You know what I mean?
No, you're right.
He either needs to be a bad guy or he needs to be a good guy in both places.
But they also, that's the thing, that's one of the problems, is that they don't treat the NXT stuff like it's happening. They act like they just assume nobody who watches the main show has any idea what happens there. So unless a major shift in the way that they talk about them and in the way that they react to NXT, or lack of reaction to NXT, unless there's a major change there, I don't see them doing it. But, you know, I would like it if they did.
Oh, definitely. I would love it. So now the first Raw after the first pay-per-view was pretty shitty.
Wasn't great. Wasn't great.
That's not fun.
Okay, what did you like? Here, I'll say something I liked that I feel like normally I wouldn't. I liked most, not all, of the Social Outcast segment for the first time ever.
I did.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. They gave them some time. Bo Dallas was funny. like when he did his part. I didn't like that they ended it with, you know, with The whole way they brought up the Dudleys with Flo Rida, I think, was really dumb. But I did like that they finally gave them some time to have fun and actually do something with the characters, other than come out and say, we're the social outcasts, and immediately get their asses kicked. Because they're four guys I would love to see something good happen for. I think Heath Slater is he's so good at riling up a crowd, because almost every crowd doesn't care who he is when he comes out, and he always gets them turned on him. You know, and I've always enjoyed him since the 3MB days.
Oh, God.
So I loved the 3MB. I have no idea. Like, anytime they came out, I'd get excited and then immediately have that excitement dashed because they never did anything with them. But I really like them. I want to see something happen, and I'm glad that Bo Dallas cracked me up. His whole you're being disrespectful and working that into like a rap verse was so funny to me.
That's apparently when you're a third generation wrestler, they regulate you to just rapping with Flo Rida. You know, forget all the legacy. Just, get in the ring with a Kangol and you know, that's whatever.
Hey, him and Curtis Axel right there. You're right, the two of them.
Yeah, it's
But they actually get to do, you know, and they got a good reaction when Adam Rose and Curtis Axel jumped on the ground, like flopping around at Bo Dallas's line. They got a laugh. There's something there. They can, even if they're just going to be comedy shtick, I would like to see those four guys do something people will actually see and enjoy. And you know what? The New Day was a goof act for a very long time before people took them seriously. Not saying these guys are going to get anywhere near that level. I don't think they will, but they can at least be solid mid-carders like that, you know, get their asses kicked by teams on that level.
All right, I'll give you that much. But now let's cut to something real quick. It's called the TNA Minute, because that company only gets a minute. All right, so time me. You got something to time me here?
I'm pulling up a stopwatch app.
All right.
So I can give you a minute, and you'll actually, I'm setting my sound to on so that you will know exactly when that minute is up.
All right, let me know when to start.
All right, and start.
TNA wrestling is shit. All right, let's put it this way. Their last I guess it was a pay-per-view or Impact or whatever the hell you want to call it. Matt Hardy wins the title, wins the last man standing match against EC3. Well, that's all well and good, but he went heel doing it. And if there's one thing Matt Hardy can't do is talk on the mic. And you got to be, if you want to be a heel, you got to be able to be good on the mic or be an imposing presence, which he is not. To solidify this, he went on this giant Twitter rant saying he's this nobody should ever talk to him. If you want an autograph, it's $500. Sorry, Matt, I don't care. Sorry, Dixie, I could give a shit. But you know what? I'm still gonna watch your show if I can find it. Do I have time left?
You have 15 seconds. You don't have Pop TV?
I do have Pop TV. I just gotta. I don't like. I have a cable.
I don't.
I have DVR and high def cable. Why do I want to put on a channel 80?
Take away the title from the one good thing the company really has going that's different. Oh,
there we go. All right, so that was
right.
That was all TNA gets. So now we are also going to be doing some things that we recommend to everybody. What is your recommendation for people to watch this week?
Okay, well, since the Royal Rumble came and went, one of my favorite matches was from a Rumble that I don't think was very well remembered from the actual Rumble itself, but the opening match of Royal Rumble 93 was Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. And I think maybe the first or second match they had after Jannetty returned, after having been thrown through the glass of the barbershop.
God, that was awesome.
I used to watch, that was one of the first, like, I was young then. Like, when I was a kid, I watched wrestling for why you watch wrestling as a kid, for the characters, for the silly stuff. It was the 90s. You know how it was. And I didn't
T.L. Hooper.
Yeah, exactly. Duke the Dumpster Drosy. But even before them, like, that's where I was at. And I didn't really watch things for the wrestling, but that was the first match I ever watched at like 9 or 10 years old when I first saw it, where I actually was like, wow, I enjoyed the wrestling and would watch it over and over again because I thought they did a great job. I was a huge mark for Marty Jannetty growing up because
you backed the wrong fucking horse there, didn't you?
I did, yeah, and it sucks too because he's a very nice guy. He's like the very nice guy, great, fantastic wrestler. Just had too many personal problems come up over the years, because they did attempt to push him a few times, even if it's only on a mid card level, and every time he would screw something up. Sadly,
well, they gave him the Intercontinental title at one point.
Well, yeah, one time I remember 2 weeks in a row on Raw. 1 week he beat Michaels for the IC title on Raw, and then the next week Michaels had Diesel with him, and then he cheated and won it back from him. Like they gave him the IC title. They had him in a pretty good tag team with Sean Waltman back when he was the 1-2-3 Kid. Like he did a lot of good. I mean, not to even mention the Rockers. Like he did a lot of good stuff, and I think he was very underrated. And I think that they always worked well together. Anytime I saw their matches, I enjoyed it. But that one especially really stood out to me. And I don't know.
Let's not forget that he was also in a tag team with Al Snow.
Oh, that's right. Wait, no, I thought that was. Oh, wait, no, You're right. The New Rockers when he was Leaf. What was it?
Leaf something.
Leaf Cassidy.
Yes.
Because it was not Leaf Ayers. It was Leaf Cassidy. That's right. Oh my God! Like Jannetty was great. Jannetty was very underrated over the years, and they tried to bring him back a few times, and every time something would come up and it wouldn't last. It was too bad. But yeah, check that match out. Opening match, I'm pretty sure, Royal Rumble '93. One of my favorite feuds of all time was between them, like starting with the barber shop and the couple years following.
My recommendation this week is probably something you've already seen if you're a fan of this podcast or listening to this podcast. I suggest the entire '92 Rumble. And yes, I understand that's when Flair won and everybody loves it because of Flair, but that's not why. I have a very specific moment inside the Rumble that always brings joy to my dead cold heart, and that is when Flair's in the ring and Jake the Snake's in there. And then him and Flair are going back and forth. I think it's Jake. And then Piper comes out, and Piper starts beating up Jake, and or whoever it was, I forget. And Bobby Heenan's on commentary with Monsoon, and he goes, "Oh, thank God for Roddy Piper. It's not a skirt. It's a kilt." And then Piper turns his attention to Flair and begins to pummel him. And Heenan turns and says, "Oh, my God, it is a skirt. It is a skirt." And it's just like, I think a lot of the times back then, when the wrestling wasn't that great, you were drawn in by Monsoon and Heenan's commentary. Because
I think they're the best team of all time
ever. I can't get enough of them, and to this day, when somebody says something stupid, I tend to pull out the old "Will you stop?" But that's always fun. But,
Heenan's my favorite of all time, and I will be. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say his Hall of Fame speech at the end when he says, "I wish Monsoon was here." I kind of up. It's like, stop breaking my heart. Damn it.
Me too. They were great together. And honestly, like the day the network puts up all the episodes of, I think it was Wrestling Challenge, where they had their little like bits that they clearly improv'd in between matches where they would talk in the studio.
God, yeah.
Great. You can find them on YouTube. Like I've gone through like hours of just watching. They have it edited down so that it's just their segments for certain episodes. And it's some of the funny. Bobby Heenan's one of the funniest people ever live, and he was so quick, and the way Gorilla Monsoon would just break character and laugh at him constantly it's really fun to watch.
And plus, if you can, I don't know if it's on the network or not, but the Bobby Heenan show.
Yeah, well, that came out of Challenge because it was like, oh, for a few weeks we're gonna give him the Bobby Heenan show, and then it got canceled.
It was so funny though, because he would. He had those sisters that he would always rip into. But the best part about Bobby is he was two different people. On camera he was who he was, but then back behind the scenes he was like the nicest guy on the planet. He took care of his mom and his grandmother and everything, and it was just so I guess it's a 2-part recommendation: 92 Rumble, and then watch the Bobby Heenan story, the documentary that's on the network about him, because he's a very when he goes, there's a short list of people when they pass I'll cry, and he's one of them. Yeah, me too. And when I saw him the way he looked recently, I'll have to send you the picture. I don't know if you saw it or not.
Oh, I've seen. I know what he looks like lately. It's sad to see. It really
hurts. It hurts, but
still has a good sense of humor, though.
Oh yeah,
despite it all.
Or you know what he needs to do? He needs to take to Twitter. He should.
Oh my God, he'd be great at Twitter.
He would. But so that's the show for this week. You can follow me on Twitter at Let's Get It Ron. I'm clever.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, I try. And where can they follow you, Mr. Russell?
My Twitter is just at Russell Rules.
Well, we let him think that, but
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week to talk about. We'll have a brand new TNA minute. We're actually, when we're recording this, I'm half an hour into their show, so it's like, I'll probably just miss Dixie running her mouth. Blah blah blah. I can't cut a promo, but yeah. So we'll be back next week. We're talking about Raw. Anything big that happens. Hopefully by the time we talk next week, Brian will be cleared. We should have a countdown to see how long it takes them to clear him.
Oh, it would be really nice if he comes back next week, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, countdown.
Yeah, so
Let's do that.
This is week 1 of Daniel Bryan Watch. All right, everybody, thanks for listening to Ring Rust. I've been Ron.
I've been Russ.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.